So, as we witness these green caps, witness what a delicately staged, beautifully photographed set this is. Its understanding of space, that kind of delectable modernism, which reminds one of Friedkin's work on To Live and Die in LA, or Michael Mann's in Manhunter, more on that in future, hopefully. Isn't it a shame that this sequence ends with something which could be considered extremely problematic and that everyone involved in the film would get in there's trouble for now? And possibly rightfully so. Here's the thing: Year of the Dragon attempts to be some sort of breathing metaphor for the condition of the white American male, perhaps, and how other groups, particularly Chinese Americans, feel about them. And it kind of falls flat on its face. An Oliver Stone screenplay, direction from Michael Cimino, who had issues in his depictions of the Vietnamese in the very acclaimed, though controversial still, Deer Hunter from 1978. Heaven's Gate was considered a big travesty, and I'm not really on board with the Heaven's Gate revisionism. Frankly, Heaven's Gate always just struck me as yank wank, but I'm not an American, so maybe Americans like that sort of thing. But whatever. Year of the Dragon, it's an extraordinary act of execution, and I feel very, insofar as it attempts to be a straightforward thriller, it's callous. Insofar as it attempts to be a considered socially conscious commentary, it's also callous. This film is a metaphor, attempting to be a metaphor in some respects, plausibly, if it's slightly cleverer than I think it is, but not as clever as it wants to be. A metaphor for, as I said, a certain white male patriarchy, and yet at the same time, well, think about especially the Mickey Rourke character as an embodiment of this. Everything that the character Tracy Zhu, portrayed by Ariane, the character, this character's rants against Mickey Rourke's Stanley White, what an unoriginal but I suppose apt name, they're all very appropriate. The complaints that Mickey Rourke's character's wife are also seemingly valid. It's as though the relationship of between the women in this sort of apparatus also questioned, and ultimately the film falls flat on its face because ultimately, like the Deer Hunter, what is could be a critique of the excesses and the xenophobia of an American establishment winds up being a kind of a embrace where like everyone can all get along. It's like, oh, but it tries to have it both ways and everyone can enjoy the experience. Like, oh, we can be aware of it, but at the end of the day, what Year of the Dragon is a straightforward cops and robbers yarn about how this kind of gun-toting cowboy John Wayne-esque figure, or I guess closer to the anti-heroic Clint Eastwood, saves the day. And I think it's a bit possibly uninspired in some respects. Again, as an act of filmic execution, there's admiration that is conjured in a viewer, although the precise seriousness of its ethos are floppy, let's say.